Good morning, everybody. It's Rita Smith, the #1 food fairy. I'm shooting this video on mason jars, canning jars, mostly Bernardin jars, but mason jars, in support of Sylvia Huizinga, who is a fitness trainer doing a whole series of salad lessons. I think she calls them Salad Sundays. And she's just starting in the beginning using mason jars, and I wanted to share with you quick some of the tips that I've learned in 32 years of using mason jars. Tons of mason jars, almost always Bernardin. Okay, Bernardin is like part of my life. I love their saying, yes you can, yes you can. I've actually, for 3 years, I've been hosting Yes You Can cooking lesson days to teach young women how to make strawberry jam and pickles and other things that could be made and can be stored. Yes, you can. It's just a positive saying. They're not the only jars that I use, and I'll tell you about that in a moment. But I did want to let you know that in addition to the jars, to the mason jars, like, look at this, look at these. The big giant ones I use for my dill pickles, they're beautiful. They're so beautiful. You could just use them for a decoration in your house. They also make fantastic canisters. You could put flour or sugar. I happen to put votive candles in here. I bought a bag of 50 and they're falling all over the place. I put them in a big giant mason jar and away we go. Thank you, Bernardin. They're every size that you could use. 2 standard mouth openings, which is the standard and the wide mouth. I use both. That's a standard, and they will fit every single jar. They will fit every single jar, and then the wide mouth will fit every single wide mouth. So, man, if only the rest of life could be so simple. So I just wanted to share with Sylvia's clients who are doing workouts and making the Sunday salads, and people who want to make salad in a jar, that there are actually a few accessories to the jars that could help you a lot. So that's a 1 liter jar. You can certainly put a whole lunch salad in there. To fit into the standard mouth jars you can buy a plastic funnel, which is $4.99 at Canadian Tire, and it's awesome. You could buy a metal funnel at Canadian Tire. That's $9.99 at Canadian Tire. It's a bit sturdier. You could actually balance a pan on it while you pour stuff in, or not worry. My plastic is never overheated, melting hot brine or anything like that. But now I have a metal and a plastic, so that's great. Okay, into a 1 liter jar. Endless lids and endless rings and lids at Canadian Tire. Everything is at Canadian Tire, has everything. So you could purchase at your grocery store, for sure. Foodland and Sobeys also carry. You could purchase at your grocery store. You could purchase at some other stores, maybe some dollar stores, I don't know. But the one place that I know that will always 100% of the time have everything is Canadian Tire. Okay, here is a super set of something that you can buy at Canadian Tire, and that is the what do they call it? The regular mouth sip and straw lids. Okay, so you buy these in a pack. There are 4 in a pack for $4.99 at Canadian Tire. This is what they look like. They're right there with the jars in the same aisle as the jars. 4 lids and 4 straws. My dog walker, my lawnmower, my landscaper. I'm forever giving people jars of iced tea or jars of warm broth in the wintertime. And I use these. Surprisingly, they come back 100% of the time because people always want to get more iced tea or more broth. That's very sweet. It's very sweet. A really inexpensive way to turn a mason jar into a drinking jar. It's just so cool. It's just so cool. $4.99. I buy them every, I always make sure I have lots of them, okay? So then onward to the next exciting thing. Let's go to this. Why is there a 4-pack of Hershey's S'mores chocolate pudding in my mason jar video? Because the little containers, the jars, whatever you want to call them, that the pudding comes in. This is also true of some of the fruit toppings, the applesauce or chopped peaches or things that you might buy to put in your kids' lunch. If you can just grab a few of them, like just grab a few to wash them and keep them, they can be used. Are you ready for this? On a salad jar, which Sylvia is specializing in now, okay? On a salad jar, the pudding cup or the fruit cup fits exactly into the top of the jar, which if you're taking a salad to work and you want to have, you know, your tomatoes and your lettuce and whatever else lined up in the bottom here, then you put the dressing or the dip in the top, okay, into the little pudding cup and put it there. Now, I have not actually, I've seen on video that there are some people that, you know, like they claim you can put a lid and a top on. I haven't been able to do that. But you can put plastic across the top and then seal it. So you have to be a little bit more careful because plastic is not as sturdy as a lid. But look at that. It fits right in the top. And so at your lunch hour, I mean, I guess you have to have a bigger mixing bowl. I don't know how people do this. You could toss the dressing or the dip, use the dip, into the vegetables below. So if you're dipping vegetables, you wouldn't toss it. But if it was a salad, you could put the dressing in and seal it and then keep it for your lunch hour. So if you have some of these little jars, some of these little pudding cups, apple cups, peach cups, whatever. Mine came from a Hershey's S'mores. I'm not even going to pretend this is good for you, but it's delicious. And then you use the plastic cups, the cups for your dressing or your dip. So that fits right in the top of a mason jar. You can cover it with foil or plastic. I have not been able to seal it with a lid. Maybe other people have been able to. Okay, so here's something I want to tell you about that's like a huge cost savings. Oh my God, like Bernardin, I should just work for them. Bernardin, you know, send me an email. I should just work for you, okay? So let's take those away. And talk about where you can get jars for free. Not free, but very, very cheap, okay? Classical makes a fantastic pasta sauce. It's really one of the best that you're ever gonna buy. It's normally priced at $4.49. Every now and then it goes on sale for $2.99. And what you need to know about when it goes on sale for $2.99 is that the jar itself is worth $1. You know, a dozen Bernardin jars cost 12 bucks at least. So a dozen of these at $2.99, if you take off the $1 that you're saving for the jar, you're getting the Classico sauce for $1.99 and then the jar at whatever the jar would cost you. Okay, it's a good size jar too. It's 750 mLs, which is a little bit smaller than a liter. It's a quarter smaller than a liter, obviously. But there are some recipes I kind of like to have a smaller jar. So if you buy the sauce at $2.99, which is on sale right now at Foodland for $2.99, if you buy the sauce on sale, the jar is worth $1. You paid $1.99 for the sauce, which is fantastic. And it's a good size of a jar. For the bigger jars, I like to use for pickles and salsas, things I make larger jars of. But there are things that I like to put in a smaller jar. I just pickled a bunch of asparagus. And a smaller jar was actually good, you know. So, but taller, smaller but taller, okay? So that when you put the asparagus in a Caesar as a garnish, the asparagus is tall enough, but the jar is small enough that if you gave some away, you wouldn't be crying going, oh my God, I just gave away $15 worth of food, you know. Okay, so Classico uses a jar that you can totally reuse and which will totally take a Bernardin lid, okay? So that's great. Super, super fantastic. Way cheaper option than anything else that I know of. Sobeys and Foodland has their own jar of tomato sauce called Sensations, and it's cheaper than Classico. It's probably, you know, maybe a little bit less flavorful, but it's also a mason jar. So today I'm going to be marinating, I'm going to be cooking a roast beef. I will use this. It's less expensive. I'll add some cheap red wine. Let's face it, I'm cheap, but I will use it, and this is a mason jar as well, okay? And you can put totally put a Bernardin lid on this jar, okay? So here are 2 jars of product that you can use in your recipes, and then don't throw the jars out because they're worth $1 each, and if you're canning, you can use these jars for canning, okay? That's fantastic. Here's a thing that's confusing and not fantastic, which is that Classico also sells this size, what is this, 410 milliliters, 410 pasta sauce. It's an Alfredo. It's beautiful. It's going to be delicious. Like whatever I put it on, I know it's going to be delicious. It'll be fantastic. However, although it's sold in a jar that says Mason on it, Atlas Mason, you can't use a standard size lid on it. It's not, I don't even know. I don't know what this is. It's not a standard lid. It's not a regular size lid. It's not a wide lid. I don't know what people would use it for. A lot of people have saved these and given them to me. I cannot use them. I can't fill them with strawberry jam or salsa or anything because of the lid. The lid is, I don't know why they're using these jars that cannot be recanned. So if you have a choice between buying Classico, actual Classico with a real mason jar lid, and this little tiny thing, don't buy this. Don't buy this. Protest this. Resist this. This is not a good product. I don't know why. The product is fine. But why are they putting it in a jar we can't reuse, okay? So you're going to spend $3.99 on this and $4.49 on this. Do not buy this, okay? Buy this. Or buy this. Or when tomatoes come into season where you live, make a ton of your own and store it, and buy Bernardin jars and buy mason jars and use all the jars that all your neighbors will give you, or use them to make a salad with Sylvia Huizinga's salad Sundays. Do that for sure. I am all for everyone using every mason jar that exists to the best of its ability. I think this is the original recycling, why we are paying to waste these jars, break them up, reprocess them, and make them again. Holy crow. I really honestly don't know why we do that. So, Bernardin, when I die, maybe my kids will put my ashes like in one of these. Okay, that's where I belong, because I love the fact that there is a company out there, because you can, making yourself independent, and the product that God gives us in Ontario, the strawberries, the asparagus, the cabbage, whatever it is that you're canning, the pickles, It's just amazing. And once you get into investing into some jars and a few little pieces of equipment, not much. It's nothing. It's nothing, really. It's like one trip to the liquor store. You could buy everything you need to can for the rest of your life. Do it. And later we'll talk about how much people love homemade food. It's kind of crazy. But this is for Sylvia. I hope that it helps your Salad Sunday viewers. There's way more than one accessory that makes a mason jar fantastic to use. The funnels, the sipping straws, the lids, the big giant jars that are just gorgeous. I love them. It's kind of like an artwork in my house. But there are some things like this one. Don't bother with that. There are some things to know before you go spend money. And then go spend some money. Canadian Tire. I don't know. Maybe there's someplace better, but I would say Canadian Tire is the place. And you will use these jars forever. There will be the best product that you've ever spent money on. Okay, so that's Rita Smith, #1 Food Fairy, hoping that you found this helpful. Sylvia, good luck with your Salad Sundays. I promise I'll be on the next one.